You know, it took me a good 10 minutes stressing over why the smelter wasn't working until I realized I put the fuel in the wrong chest. This is why we need labels on things. But nonetheless, this super smelter has been a great help in resource gathering and overall efficiency. I have been using this thing a lot over the past few days as I've been preparing for an upcoming build. We'll get into the details in just a moment, but last episode we built this and you all seem to have really loved it, and I'm glad you do because I really enjoyed building this, and I'm a huge fan of this red water tower here that I've also given a small purpose, and that purpose is to give us water. Hey, it's called a water tower for a reason. I also added this resource pack that changes leaf litter into this orangey red mixture, and as for the fall resource pack that I added at the end of last episode, it looked cool and all until it turned into day. I'll spare you the pain, everything just kind of turned pale and ugly, and for good reason too. That's what a fall resource pack should look like. But for my own sanity, I'd prefer the lush green of the grass instead. But hey, if you have a cool autumn resource pack in mind, one that's preferably not too pale in color, let me know. One quick thing I also wanted to mention was the semi-automatic leaf farm that I showed off in the last episode. Someone made a good point and mentioned that for the smaller saplings, I could just add a space in between these dispensers to be more practical as opposed to just planting side by side. So this means I won't need to cut down too many logs after collecting the leaves, seeing as this was mainly built to collect leaves, so I guess this definitely saves on axe durability, right? Thanks AdRevent for the suggestion, I hope I pronounced that right. Okay, so we have plans, and what are those plans, you may ask? Well, part of it is to get rid of all of these cherry blossom trees. Now yeah, they look cool and all, but I live in a forest, or that's at least what I'm trying to convey here. A lot of times when I face east, the pink just stands out too much. So a lot like what we did when we got rid of the village that was on top of the hill down there, it was really just taking away from the overall scenery. But don't worry, I have some potential plans to make it look even better in the future. By the way, this looks cool. It almost looks custom made. Also, on the agenda for today, we are making a moss farm. I want to continue to bring things that are practical to building, as it kind of works best in both ways. I get to make a cool build, and it actually has a function. A purpose, if you will. And this area here is where I plan to build it. It's going to follow the same industrial theme we've kind of implemented in our last episode, and the goal is to fit a moss farm inside. Now you may be wondering, why moss? Actually, wait. I'm sure it's very apparent why, but if you don't know, I use moss a lot. Now, it'll be good to have a separate structure for that, and it'll make things a lot easier when it comes to adding the much needed greenery that this place needs. Right, so like always, I gotta prepare the area here and gather the resources needed for this build. Just give me a moment. We did it. We finally got ourselves a disc. Hold on. There we go. Anyways, we got ourselves a music disc here, and I don't know which one it is, but it's been a while since I've actually used one of these. But if I had to guess, I remember the purple one being the one with the Halloween vibes, right? I guess there's only one way to find out. Yep, I knew it. You know, it fits the festive spirit very well. They don't seem to like it at all. Okay, enough fun for now. We gotta get back to work. Okay, so now we should be about ready for the actual build. I laid out this gradient line here to show you guys what blocks I'll be using for the build. As you guys could see, for the woods we started off with the darker tones of brown using the spruce logs and its stripped variant. Then we transition into oak, same thing here over with the birch, where we find ourselves using smooth sandstone, and because sand has about the same color shade as the smooth sandstone, I decided it'll be great for adding that extra texture and gradient. Jumping into the stones, we start off with the darker colors using basalt and its smooth variant. Then we jump right over to light grays using stone, andesite, and cobblestone. Then to transition over into the greens, we will use this mossy cobblestone to do just that, and as you guys can see, it works great. Now this build, I plan to house multiple smaller farms alongside the moss, so most likely it'll have to be under the build, so I guess that's a fun excuse to potentially make a cool underground basement for that purpose. You know, I'm excited for this. The more builds I build here, the more this place really starts to feel like an actual environment to live in. But real quick, before we get into any building, let me just take care of those trees. Hey, so very quickly, I wanted to thank you guys for the positive feedback I received in the last episode. They're very inspiring and very motivating, and that means a lot coming from someone who enjoys building, because the best thing you can get out of making something is simply being recognized for it, and that's just something I really appreciate. I enjoy making these kinds of videos, and hopefully together we create a fun journey to remember. Also, let me know if you have any other ideas for builds or even suggestions. I'm open to anything. I'm still working on an established theme here, so maybe you could help me out with that. Anyways, these trees have been cleared. Back to the video. I am destroying undisturbed ecosystems and yet at the same time restoring them. Basically, I don't like the view, so I'll just completely change it to my own liking. But seriously, when I look at this, I see a blank canvas, an open opportunity to do whatever. And you know what? I'm already thinking of ideas, one of which is building a small cottage up there. Okay, well, let's see if this will look good. Yeah, maybe if we made it a little bit higher. This is a good way to kind of get a feel for builds off in the distance. But that mountain there has got to go. Can you imagine I just dig out an entire mountain by hand? Hey, no one said it's impossible. And there we go. A simple yet inviting build. When it comes to building things, one of the first things I do is find the focal point. That is the place where you want your build to be framed a certain way. For me, it was right about here. When this idea first came into my mind, this was the vision, a rundown home / factory of some sort in the middle of a dense forest. And I think I captured that pretty well, although I could use some more trees over there. But if I had to give one piece of advice for making builds look better, that would be to think about its history. Ask yourself, how old is this build? What happened to it? Is it still functional? Is it still vacant? Once you can answer all those questions, you'll have a better understanding of what it is you're going for here. So because this build is designed to be a little bit more on the older side, the surrounding area should feel the same way, neglected and forgotten. So you'll find that we have overgrown grass or maybe even fallen over trees that no one's been bothered to take care of or move out of the way. I think the more that I add on to this world, the more I begin to understand the overall theme, and that, I think, could be some kind of forgotten town or community that one person kind of came across and called it home. This idea might need some more thought, but as long as you can imagine it, you can build it. Anyways, enough rambling on. This here is the inside. Yeah, pretty much we need to find a way to add a moss farm in here while trying to make it look good at the same time fit the overall theme. So just give me a moment while I work on that. And now we have ourselves a moss farm. This was quite a challenge to make. Not only did it have to fit into the space, but also make sure everything worked. This design is by Champman. I'll leave a link to the tutorial in the description, but this is a very functional and efficient moss farm. I did make some minor adjustments to where the hoppers led, but this should be able to provide for our moss uses in the future very well. So if you flick the lever and detach from your body, you'll see that this farm's function is pretty simple. We have stone generators, making stone, and then we have dispensers dispensing in the bone meal on that said stone, which then gets broken down by these pistons over here and trailed into the hoppers. If you look around, there's really not much, and that's fine considering that this was to cover up a simple farm. You can say that building an entire factory for this is a bit overkill, but hey, so long as it looks good, I'm all for it. As I mentioned earlier, we will have a space underground in the basement here where we will house the smaller farms. Not only does this give this place more of a use, but also we could really do a lot of cool things down here, but that will have to wait for another episode because now there's something I've been meaning to do for quite a while. So you remember last episode when I went blaze hunting? Well, I did some more work and got some ender pearls, so now we have ourselves Eyes of Ender. I think a visit to the end is overdue, and I've been kind of thinking about those elytras. I have been doing some enchanting and I've buffed up my armor, so I think I'm about ready to fight the ender dragon. Before we head out, we are going to need a couple things, such as our bow, our shield, a water bucket for obvious reasons, dirt blocks to stack up, many arrows, and some beds. Gotta hit this before I leave for good luck. Looks like we found a stronghold. It should be right around here. So I guess there's only one thing left to do, and that is to dig straight down. Oh, and we found it. Okay, time for the fun part, and that is to find a stronghold. Oh, looks like we found ourselves a library. Anything good? Okay, not too bad. Could it be under here, maybe? Yep, just a whole bunch of dead ends. Oh, there it is. Okay, for the moment of truth, let's see how many eyes of Ender there are here after I get rid of these guys. What? Not a single one. Thankfully, I did lose a couple on my way here, but I have 13, which should be enough. I guess this makes it a little bit more satisfying to put them in, huh? And we have finally opened it. Real quick, just gonna set my spawn right here. Alright, got my shield. I got everything I need. We should be ready now. Is now a good time to say that I've never done this alone? Well, it's too late for that now. Okay, so let's make this quick, yeah? Just keep looking down, just keep looking down. Where's my bow? First one. Let's see how much we can get from here. Third one down, and we gave him a little bit of a hit. Oh crap. Nice. Here we go. Okay, there goes another one. Nice. Yeah, what did I expect? Oh, never mind, actually worked. Nice. We got them all down. Time to actually kill this guy. Whoa! That was a fail. Jeez, thank God I had feather falling on. Come on. Oh, crap! Man, these beds are very destructive. Okay, next one set up. Come on, no, no! Okay, okay. Come on, come on, come on, come on, and... No! Whoa! Okay, this guy is not taking as much damage as I would like him to. And... well, we're out of bed, so we're gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. Okay, I think I have to go to the head. What? He didn't even stay for like... that was like, what? A couple seconds. Okay, here we go, here we go. Okay, getting some hits. We're making some progress. Just waiting for this guy to come on down. Come on, just a couple more hits. This is the killing shot. Never mind. Now watch as I kill him with the one shot. There we go. We did it. XP everywhere. This is satisfying indeed. We got over a stack of levels, not too bad. And there it is, with all of its glory. I'm just gonna take that. Got the egg. And the portal to the end fortresses has opened up, but we'll save that for another adventure. Right now, I need to get back home. There. This is a perfect spot to keep the egg temporarily. Man, what an episode this has been. There's still a lot to do, so expect the next episode to be just as busy as this one, if not more. I'm very happy with this build, and I hope you guys are as well. If you have any thoughts or suggestions that I could add, feel free to comment it down below. And if you enjoyed this episode, or if you're liking the series so far, consider hitting that button. Don't want to say the word, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. And with that, my name is Ultra161, and I'll see you all in the next one.